and welcome to our next video blog.
This is Isaac Watson. These are our garden. Okay, bye.
Gardening gives us such amazing metaphors for the Christian life. We're starting a garden at our house. We haven't had one since we moved in here, but we're putting one in. So we've been starting a whole bunch of plants from seed. That's what all this is. And Isaac's been a big part of helping us with that. But gardens are amazing metaphors for the spiritual life. We find metaphors of growth and of patience, of nourishment, and of God's faithfulness. In fact, as a spiritual director, we often talk about gardening as a metaphor for our own spiritual growth. In gardens, if you've ever done any gardening, then you know in gardens, if you have too many things packed too close together, they won't grow, they won't flourish. You've got to give things space in your life and in a garden for them to grow. Sometimes, in fact, you have to take out perfectly good plants in order to allow the ones around them to grow and flourish. So it is in our spiritual lives. Sometimes we have to take perfectly good things out of our lives so that the spiritual aspect can grow and flourish. Gardens truly are a wonderful source of metaphors for the Christian life. One I hadn't really pondered until today was gentleness. We're talking about the fruits of the Spirit. And so today, as we ponder the fruit of the Spirit of gentleness, I wanted to think about that in terms of gardens. See, gardens, plants, require gentleness the same way people do. I was reminded today of a time when my dad and I, when I was very young, were wrestling in the living room. We were roughhousing in there. My mom had told us not to over and over again. And sure enough, as soon as we started roughhousing, one of our feet, I don't know which one of us it was, but one of our feet caught the planter in the corner and tipped it over. Now, besides the huge mess that my mom had to clean up, we also hurt the plant in it. Not quite mortally, she was able to salvage it. But I still remember to this day how bad I felt, realizing that our violence, even fun violence, had caused hurt to this plant. I was reminded of that specifically yesterday when Heather showed me this. This is one of the plants that we had planned for our garden. Maybe not if you see it real closely. We couldn't figure out why it wasn't growing until she showed me this. We'd snapped it off right there at the end. Now, we don't know if this happened during one of our family Nerf wars, whether this happened while we were bopping a balloon around the living room, or whether it was when we were throwing a ball around, or just the general play and rambunctiousness of a 4-year-old. But we snapped it, and so this plant is pretty much gone. You see, plants, in fact, all living things, require a gentle touch. See, plants are delicate things. They're breakable, and that's a huge part of their beauty. And so it is with humankind. People are the same way. They're delicate things. They're breakable, and that's a big part of their beauty. I'm not just talking about physically being gentle, although that's a big part of it. We have got to be physically gentle with each other. I know this well because I have broken this arm 4 times right there. First time in 2nd grade, I fell off a jungle gym I was climbing on. The 4th time, I was just running the bases and tripped and fell. The 3rd time, in 6th grade, I was jumping off a back porch with a friend and caught my foot and fell wrong. And then the last time was only about a decade ago when I was at a baseball game and someone hit a foul ball up into the stands. I threw my arm up to protect myself and it ricocheted off my arm and snapped it. I've broken my arm 4 times, so I understand the fragility of humankind. But it's not just physically, it's also emotionally and spiritually that we're delicate and breakable and fragile. Now, this is a really unpopular thought in our culture today. Our culture glorifies the exact opposite of gentleness, which is violence. We call everyone to be tough, to be rough, to be unbreakable. How many different movies are there by that name? I played football my 9th grade year, my freshman year of high school. And I found out after just a few months, I really was not very good at it. Now, granted, I didn't have a whole lot of the skills, but even more than that, I just was a gentle person. I was not someone who did well going out there to be violent and hurt people. And if you're not willing to hurt people, you're not going to get very far in full contact football. That's just kind of the name of the game. No, I think that it's more than just the physical piece. It's also an emotional piece of gentleness in our lives. See, emotionally, every one of us is susceptible to criticism and to mockery and to shame. That's what makes it such a powerful tool in our culture and one so easily used. Every one of us at one point or another has said, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me." That's a bunch of baloney. Names can hurt us far more than any stick or stone ever could. Our culture is becoming more and more increasingly violent. Criticism, mockery, shame, and we see it in our TV shows and our movies like John Wick and The Walking Dead. And no surprise, as we watch our culture becoming more violent, we also see the need for psychologists and counselors on the rise as well. These wonderful counselors who do the incredibly important job of helping us deal with our emotional woundings. But that's not the last piece. The last piece I want to talk about is spiritually. Spiritually, we need to be gentle with each other. This favorite metaphor we hear today of beating someone over the head with the Bible should be absolute anathema to Christians. We should hate that beyond words because it is the opposite of the gentleness that Jesus calls us to. We should probably be the most gentle in life when it comes to sharing our faith, when it comes to correcting each other in the church, which we're called to do, and when it comes to teaching each other the good news of Jesus Christ. So you met Isaac earlier. With young children, you learn very quickly how important it is to be gentle with them. And so, just like we are gentle with children, we need to be gentle with each other spiritually. We need to be gentle with each other emotionally. And we even need to be gentle with each other physically. So a couple of thoughts to ponder. Do you consider yourself a gentle person? More importantly, if you read our blog from yesterday, are the actions that you do each day gentle actions? When you interacted with your spouse most recently, was it gentle? When you interacted with your family most recently, was it gentle? How might you encourage yourself and be able to become a more gentle person each day? All right, that's it for this week. I hope that we can see you Sunday. Note real quickly, we're changing the time of our worship service to 9:30 this Sunday. I know this is maybe the first you've heard of it, but this Sunday we'll be airing our worship service at www.libcov.org at 9:30. So, hope we'll see you there.